Hello, everybody. It's Daniel here. Welcome to Emotional English Podcast, the podcast where you learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, fulfilled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, everybody. Today is another day for learning English, and this is a good thing, right? We facing another beautiful category today. It's business vibe category, and we will discuss the topic of punctuality. So what is punctuality? Is it good or not good? And we will discuss a little mini story related to business and punctuality, right? I hope this mini story will be interesting for you, and we will discuss the mini story from different perspective. I will teach you some new vocab. You will learn at least 6 great words today related to business, and some of them are idioms, some of them are just beautiful expressions that you can use in your daily business life. Maybe you're a business person. Maybe you're just the person who is interested in business vocabulary. So this episode is exactly for you. Before I start, I want to share with you some information that I have a community group on Telegram channel. So you can join there anytime. We post an extra content every day. So if you're interested in learning English more seriously, go there and subscribe. And if you want to support our podcast, I have a Boosty channel, Emotional English, and you can do it if you want. And if you're listening this podcast on any platform, right, please like it, subscribe it, because it helps a lot to promote the podcast and to share this podcast to as many people as it possible to, right? So let's try to work on today's discussion, and let's learn some new stuff. I hope it will be interesting, and let's dive into it, right? So we have different, let's say, stages of our today's discussion. So we will discuss vocabulary overview first. I will show you some vocabulary, and then I will ask you some questions to reflect on the new vocabulary. Next, we will discuss the text. I've prepared a little 3-paragraph text here, like a minute story about the train waits for no one. And then we'll do some comprehension check. We will do some revision of the text, right? I will ask you some questions. You will try to help me and provide me the answers. And the final section is going to be the vocabulary revision. I will ask you 5 questions related to the new vocabulary we had learned, right? And I think it's going to be interesting, right? So to go from one section to another and to revise all the topic all together, right? So I hope you guys are full of energy today, and we will start learning English emotionally, fulfilled with energy and positively. Let's begin. So we start from a vocabulary review section. The first word I want to share with you is the word reliable. So I will give you the sentence with this word. Try to understand the logic without explanation first, okay? Paul was a reliable friend. If he said 9 a.m., he was there at 8:55 a.m. I will repeat the sentence. Paul was a reliable friend. If he said 9 a.m., he was there at 8:55 a.m. So this is the sentence. Reliable person is the person who you trust, right? You can trust this person because they do what they promise. If I say to you, I will be there at 9 a.m., it means I will be there at 9 a.m., right? So I'm not lying to you. So I'm reliable. You can trust me, all right? So are you the most reliable person in your family? Or maybe your mom is more reliable, or your father is more reliable? Okay, so I can say that you can trust me. So I am a reliable person. That's the first word for you guys. Let's go to the second one. Cut it close. Cut it close. It's an idiomic phrase, and I will use the sentence with this phrase, with this idiom. Try to understand the logic of it. Larry loved to cut it close. He always arrived 1 second before the deadline. Larry loved to cut it close. He always arrived 1 second before the deadline. So this is interesting idiom, right? So if you discuss the idiom cut it close, it's about doing something with almost no time left, to be almost late, Maybe these people who always cut it close, they always 1 second before the deadline, that's crazy. I trying never cut it close because I think this is disrespectful and it creates stress to people, right? So, and I want to ask you, when you go to the airport, do you go early or do you cut it close? So that's a very good question because I do have some friends who like to cut it close, but I hate it because I am a Virgo by the stars sign, right? And I say that, Virgos in general, they like to be on time or in time. It depends. So it's better for me to go earlier, right? Half an hour earlier before the trip. That's the best for me, right? Because I feel more secured, safe, and comfortable. So what about you? So will you go and will you cut it close or you will go earlier? You will come earlier to the airport. Let me know. So let's go to number 3. Disrespectful. Pretty simple word, right? Disrespectful. Respectful, disrespectful. So I will give you a sentence. Waiting for 20 minutes is not just annoying. It's a disrespectful to go to the other people, right? Waiting for 20 minutes is not just annoying. It is disrespectful to the other person, right? Or people. Because if you cut it close and people waiting for you, they expect you to come earlier, right? But if you cut it close, they think that it's pretty disrespectful because people feel stressed when they wait for you, right? That's what I think. But when we discuss the topic of dating, for example, right? Some ladies, some guys, they meet, and it's okay for the lady to come and to cut it close, right? But for the man, it's expected the man should be there at least 10 minutes earlier. But I don't want to be sexist here. So I think now it's pretty balanced, right? So everybody cut it close or everybody come earlier or later, right? It depends. Let's go to the next one, to the word consequences. Consequences. So Larry never thought about the consequences of his actions until it was too late. And this sentence connected to our story about Larry. So Larry never thought about the consequences of his actions until it was too late. So consequence is the result of an action. Consequence is a neutral word. It can be positive or negative, right? I don't want to give you extra vocabulary about consequences, but let's say that consequences can be good and bad, right? Larry never thought about the consequences of his actions, right? Every action has consequence, good or bad. Until it's too late. So you never think about consequences. And in this context, it's about the negative usage of consequences. So let's do this. When you have a bad result that happens to you, or you're doing something wrong, it's about consequence, right? And people use this word generally in a negative usage case, right? But you can say that some consequences are good, right? No matter what, you see the results. And people describe positive consequence as an outcome, right? Positive outcome. But consequence, I think it's pretty neutral. But mostly people use it negatively. Okay, anyway, I have an extra word for negative usage, but it's another story. I don't want to face on it today. Next usage, in the nick of the time. In the nick of the time. So this is another idiom here. Usually Larry entered the room in the nick of the time, sweating and out of breath. In the nick of time, or in the nick of that time, it depends of the situation. So usually Larry entered the room in the nick of time, sweating and out of breath. As you see, in the nick of time, it means at the very last moment. It's very connected to the word cut it close. Right? So it's the last, or before it's too late, before like 1 second 1 second before too late, but you feel a big discomfort. You're sweating, the water come out of your skin, from your skin. So then you out of breath. It means you, like this. So this is the bad thing. So when you come in the nick of time, so you feel not very comfortable, and people kind of disrespect you because they don't like you. Of course, they dislike you more if you're late, but in the nick of the time, it's not good too. And the last vocab for today is the tardy, right? Tardy. What is tardy and how we can use it? So tardy is a word that is about, let's see the sentence first, right? The boss warned the person that if he was tardy one more time, he would be fired, right? In this way, tardy, it's about delaying, right? About being late, right? And generally it's better to not pronounce R at all. You just say tardy, right? Tardy. Just remove R from pronunciation. So tardy, right? Or just tardy, right? So the boss warned him that if he was tardy one more time, he would be fired. So it's more formal usage case. So if you're a businessman, it's better, why are you tardy, right? So my question to you, were you often tardy for school when you were a child or no? So, for example, me, I was, I was tardy. So I was always tardy, right? And this is bad when you're tardy, right? So let's see again: reliable, cut it close, disrespectful, consequences, in the nick of time, and tardy, right? So all of these words will be used in our discussion in our mini story that goes next. And the name of the mini story is The Train Waits for No One. The train waits for no one. Let's go in and let's start. Paragraph number 1. There were 2 best friends named Paul and Larry. Paul was reliable. He treated time like gold. If he had an appointment, he was there early. Larry was the opposite. He was a nice guy, but he was always messy. He loved to cut it close. He thought, why arrive early when I can arrive exactly on time? Paul told him, Larry, one day this will hurt you. Being late is disrespectful to the people waiting for you. Larry just laughed. That's the first paragraph of our mini story. And I have a question for you guys. Do you understand this mini story? Yeah, I think the first paragraph was not very hard, right? But we've heard the word reliable already, right? So let's discuss the question. I described Paul as reliable. How did the Paul treat time compared to Larry? Time treatment is about respecting, right? Treating time. So how did Larry treat time? How did the Paul treat time compared to Larry? You have 2 people, right? One person, Paul, is treating time well, but Larry treats time negatively, not good, right? So one person you can trust, he's reliable. Another person you cannot trust, he's unreliable. So who is reliable? Who is unreliable? That's right. So Paul was reliable and Larry was unreliable. Why? Why Larry was unreliable? Of course, because Larry liked to cut it close, right? So what does that mean about his arrival style? So when Larry cut it close, what does it mean? It means that he was always almost late, right? Always messy, right? So that's not so good, right? About people. And we had discussed it, right? When you cut it close, you're very close to the deadline, right? So Larry was kind of disrespectful. He was kind of disrespectful to Paul, right? Because Paul was waiting for him. That's the point. So that's the first paragraph. I hope it was fun. And let's dive into the second one. One day, they both had a huge opportunity, Larry and Paul. They had an interview for their dream job in the city. They had to catch the 8 a.m. train. So both people, Paul and Larry, they had an interview and they had to catch the train at 8 a.m. Paul arrived at the station at 7:45 a.m. and he checked his watch. No Larry. He checked the watch again, 7:50 a.m. No Larry. Paul started to sweat, like, oh my God. He started to feel stress, right? Because the friend is late, is getting late. He called Larry, and Larry shouted, I'm coming. And Larry shouted very badly. Larry had overslept. Now he was running through the streets. He was going to be tardy for the most important day of his life. He's tardy for the most important day of his life. So let's dive into questions. So we have someone tardy. Who was tardy? Paul or Larry? That's right. Larry was tardy because he was shouted, I'm coming, right? He was tardy, almost late. I mean, he was going to be tardy. He was going to be late, but not yet. He was calling, I'm coming. I will be on time, right? And then someone was stressing out. Who? Larry or Paul? Probably both of them, but Paul started to sweat, right? He started to have this little water on his skin, right? That's a sweat. When you feel stress, your temperature goes up and your body start produce water. So it start to sweat, right? That's why we wear sweaters, to make us sweaty, right? So, but anyway, sweat start to appear on Paul's skin. And there was a reason for it. It was a Larry, and he was going to be tardy. Not very good. Let's go to the paragraph number 3, shall we? The train whistle blew. Paul had to make a choice. He got on the train. As the door started to slide shut, he saw Larry sprinting onto the platform. Larry reached out his hand in the nick of time, but he was too slow. The doors closed in his face. The train began to move, and Paul looked through the window at his sad friend left behind on the platform. Larry finally understood. You cannot pause time. He had to face the consequences of his bad habit. He missed the train and he missed the jump. Unfortunate paragraph, isn't it? So there was a question of unfortunate, right? At the end, Larry reached for the door in the nick of time. Did he get on or did he fail? Yeah, Larry failed. Why? Because he was too late. He was tardy. He was not going to be tardy. He was tardy already. So he reached out the hand of Paul in the nick of time, but he was too slow, right? The doors closed in his face and the train began to move. So unfortunate for Larry. He didn't hit the train. He was late. He was tardy. Not good for Larry. Why did Paul get on the train without his friend? What do you think, guys? Probably because it's an opportunity for both of them. And he didn't want to lose opportunity because of the friend's fault, right? And what the lesson did Larry learn on the platform? Probably the lesson was about about the time, right? About being what? Being punctual, right? Follow punctuality. And you know what? In business, it's quite important to be punctual. It's important to be on time. It's important to be earlier, to not cut it close, to not come in the nick of time. It's better to come earlier, not in the nick of time, right? I hope it was pretty clear, the whole story. Now I will read the whole story again without stops, just the full story reading. Try to catch the whole logic again and try to go deeper into it. Imagine each piece of the story in your mind. Try to believe in it, right? Try to watch a movie in your mind. Do not translate the story to Russian. Just keep it, or Chinese, or whatever language you use. Just imagine the story and make it real. There were two friends named Paul and Larry. Paul was reliable. He treated time like gold. If he had an appointment, he was there early. Larry was the opposite. He was a nice guy, but he was always messy. He loved to cut it close. He thought, why arrive early when I can arrive exactly on time? Paul told him, Larry, one day this will hurt you. Being late is disrespectful to the people waiting for you. Larry just laughed. One day, they both had a huge opportunity. They had an interview for their dream job in the city. They had to catch the 8 a.m. train. Paul arrived at the station at 7:45. He checked his watch. No, Larry. 7:50 a.m. No, Larry. Paul started to sweat. He called Larry. I'm coming, Larry shouted. Larry had overslept. Now he was running through the streets. He was going to be tardy for the most important day of his life. The train whistles blew. Paul had to make a choice. He got on the train. As the door started to slide shut, he saw Larry sprinting onto the platform. Larry reached out his hand in the nick of time, but he was too slow. The doors closed in his face. The train began to move, and Paul looked through the window at his sad friend left behind on the platform. Larry finally understood. You cannot pause time. He had to face the consequences of his bad habit. He missed the train and he missed the job. Unfortunate event, isn't it? But I have a couple more questions to you guys just to double check the vocabulary, focus vocabulary for today. Are you ready for this? Imagine you have a meeting with the president. Would you arrive 30 minutes early or would you cut it close? Imagine you're meeting Donald Trump or you're meeting Vladimir Putin or you're meeting your president, right? So would you arrive 30 minutes early or would you cut it close and why? It's just a question for your reflection. You can answer it to yourself or pronounce the answer while you are listening to this podcast. No matter where are you, standing or sitting, just say it or say it in your mind. If you promise to help your friend move house, but you don't show up, you're not reliable. How would your friend feel if you promise to help your friend move the house, right? But you don't show up and you're not reliable. How would your friend feel? So probably your friend would feel not so good, right? Because your friend is moving, you said that you will help him to move, but you didn't show up. You are becoming unreliable. Next reflection question for you guys. Your teacher locks the door at 9 a.m. You arrive 9:01. You are tardy. What happens next? Yeah, if the teacher is good, the teacher probably unlock the door and let you in. But if the teacher is mad or not good, so probably he would say, "You late. You are tardy. Sorry." Right? It depends. Maybe your teacher is better and he will let you in, but some professors are not. Another question to you. Some people think being 5 minutes late is fine. Others think it's disrespectful. Which side are you on? I'm on the side on that being late is bad. So for me, it's very disrespectful to show up 5 minutes late. Even if you're in the nick of time, I think it's still disrespectful. Even if you cut it close, I don't care. I think it's pretty disrespectful. I don't want to sweat. I don't want to stress out. I want to feel comfortable, right? So I think 5 minutes earlier is the best to come. I don't ask to come 50 minutes earlier or 30 minutes. 15 is good. 10 is okay. 5 is perfect. But again, up to you. If you eat sugar every day, you might get sick later. That sickness is one of the consequences of your diet. Can you name a positive consequence of exercise? What are the positive consequences? It's the positive usage of the word consequence of an exercise. I can say that if you are exercising, the positive consequence number 1, you will feel better. Positive consequence number 2, your muscles will grow. You will have bigger muscles. Positive consequence number 3, you will look better. Okay? I hope it was pretty clear. So we discussed all the segments for today. We discussed the vocabulary. We discussed the mini story. We discussed some vocabulary revision, and we did some questioning. We did some comprehension checks. I hope it was useful for you guys, and I hope you learned something interesting today. And as I said earlier, it's important to learn English emotionally, fulfilled with energy and positively. Don't forget to practice English on your daily basis. Don't skip your lessons. Practice regularly, and things gonna be okay. Ignore grammar. Don't worry about grammar. Just dive into the new vocabulary and be cautious, be focused, right? Be careful with the meanings, right, of the words you're facing. Try to focus and check the meaning in English without using your language that you're using daily. Use the language you're learning for better practice. I think so. It's all for today. If you like this podcast, please like it on the platform you're listening to. If you want to support us, go to Boosty or support us directly by the bank transfer. Join our community on Telegram and be happy. Thank you all for being with us today, guys. I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.